वाह, ये रहे हमारे शंकेंदु धवल बलदाऊ, जिनको कि अनंत कोटि कामपाल कहा गया है। वो इसलिए क्योंकि ये सभी भक्तों की मनोकामनाओं को पूर्ण करते हैं। श्री क्षेत्र में एक बहुत ही प्यारी सी प्रथा प्रचलित है, वो ये कि अगर भक्तों को अपने भक्ति का नैवेद्य देना हो तो वो सीधे महाप्रभु के चरणों में समर्पित करते हैं। लेकिन यदि अपनी गुहार लगानी हो, अपनी कोई इच्छा पूर्ति करवानी हो, अपने मन के भीतर छिपी हुई कोई बात महाप्रभु तक पहुंचानी हो, तो वे बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से बलदाऊ को अपना माध्यम बना लेते हैं। वो बलदाऊ से कहते हैं कि हमारी सारी इच्छाओं को पूर्ण करो, हमें परिपूर्ण करो, और ये बात हम अनुरोध करते हैं, ये कृपया अपने छोटे भाई तक पहुंचा देना। और कहते हैं कि ऐसे जब बात पहुंचती है थ्रू प्रॉपर चैनल, हम जिसे कहते हैं, वो संपूर्ण रूप से फलीभूत हो जाती है। कितने सुंदर लग रहे हैं बलदाऊ, जो कि कृषि संस्कृति का प्रतीक है। शस्य श्यामला धरती से जुड़े हुए हैं, जिनका आयुध ही हलायुध है, जो हल से भक्तों के प्रति हृदय की जमीन को जोतते हैं। माँ सुभद्रा उसके बाद उसमें भक्ति के बीजों को बोती हैं, और उसके बाद जब महाप्रभु आते हैं, हर एक भक्त अपने हृदय में भक्ति पारवश्य से अभिभूत होकर महाप्रभु के दर्शन करता है। आगे की धारा विवरणी सरोज से।
Jai Jagannath. All glories to Lord Jagannath. So, as we had been watching, the Pahandi is through, and at the onset we saw the Pahandi of Lord Sudarsana, the weapon of Lord Jagannath. And Sudarsana, even though is understood to be the Ayudha, the weapon of Lord Krishna in shape of a wheel, in the Jagannatha consciousness and in the worshipping styles, he adorns in form of a pillar. There is a belief that when Lord Krishna was holding the wheel or Sudarsana Chakra, the devotees, they were afraid of coming near to him. And as the devotees were not able to come near Lord Jagannath or Lord Vishnu, they made an appeal. It is believed, it is in the mythology. And just to give way to the devotees, Lord allowed the ferocious or the fearful look of Sudarsana, and he asked him to take the form of a stump. And he remains on the left side of Lord Jagannath on the bejeweled throne in the sanctum sanctorum right inside the temple, the 12th century edifice. And here is Lord Balabhadra, the white-faced eldest of all siblings. He had already come in the Pahandi. On the onset we saw the Pahandi of Lord Sudarsana, and after that now Balabhadra is there, and Lord Sudarsana has alighted the chariot of Goddess Subhadra. Even though he stays very close to Lord Jagannath on the visual throne inside the temple, but his place is decided, and it is predestined rather, that he should remain as a bodyguard to the female embodiment of the energy in Goddess Subhadra. And here what happens, there is also an inner sanctum, and in the inner sanctum Lord Balabhadra is seated, and he is to be tied and fastened in a rope, like before taking off one has to, or every passenger has to fasten the seat belt. Exactly like that, Lord Balabhadra is fastened with the silken ropes, so that no untoward thing happens, and he is positioned in the proper way so that the devotees can have a better view. Now this is the whole section of the crowd, and the crowd comprises of the uh, uh, police force and mostly the servitors. Servitors, they are the ritualists, the functionaries of the temple, and those who have been rendering their services over the centuries, generations after generations, and they are the trained people. And this is a wonderful thing that they have been blessed with, that they are destined to always stay very close to the Lord's. And even though their rathas or the chariots are all set to roll out today, but curfew has kept the devotees away, and this has been imposed because of the pandemic, and which has created havoc everywhere at the length and breadth of the country. And everybody is waiting for that moment, the moment that we are also waiting, and hundreds and thousands of viewers of Doordarshan all across the world, they are also waiting for the moment when Lord of the universe, Lord of all lords, Lord Jagannath, would get out of the canopy of Singadwara and onto the Grand Road. And here is the place between the Aruna Stambha and the Lion's Gate. It's called the Lion's Gate because two huge lions flank the way there. And this is the main entrance, rather, facing to the east. And this is meant for the public, the main devotees. And this is the scene of the Mexip ladder that is fixed to the chariot there. And one can see the acrobatic skills of a sports person who is connected to the temple of Lord Jagannatha. And yes, this is the way we find the chhatri or the umbrella. Umbrellas are seen, one white umbrella, and there is the chhatri and tarasas are there, and the alata chamara, the fly whisk service is also allowed to different monasteries and the mutts, and they also offer. And obviously this involves a greater amount of privilege, rather, and they are truly blessed people. They are also moving the tarasas also. And here is an acrobatic display by a sports person. This in fact is called banati. Banati, this is an instrument, a ball is tethered, a tethered ball is there, and the length is about, say, 3 feet. And with the use of the tethered ball, one moves it in such a way and throws it up into the air, and also to catch it up. You see, this is a wonderful thing. And this involves a lot of mental agility also. And this particular banati is called the Bana banati, because Bana is the small triangular shape of the flags that we find there stitched to that thread. Thread is always, or the rope, you can say, it's a 3 feet length. And at the end of the rope there is a ball, and it carries the weight. That is why the movement becomes very smooth and very poetic, rather. And there are different types of banatis are there. The Agni banati is there. So at the time when the Lord should be entering after completing the sojourn from the Gundicha temple, it's usually the night time. In the middle of the night, the Agni banati is played, because at one end of that tethered rope we find there is a ball of fire, and it looks beautiful, and the person who plays that he looks so adventurous. And this is a very, very old tradition of Puri. And if we look at the history of Banati, we know that it has been there from the Mahabharata age. And if we look at the origin, it is believed that Lord Kartikeya started it. And this is in fact a maneuver that was adopted during the battle in the war fields by the warriors also. And this is another way of defending oneself. This is a defensive way. And if one moves the tethered rope or the tethered ball in such a way, nobody can hit that person, that sports person, with the arrow or even with any arm. So you see, some time back I had an understanding that Chinese people, they have also adopted the use of Banati, and there was one display where the arrows were fired from all sides, but the person was not found being hit with the arrows because the movement was so fast. And here is the attention. All attention is on the movement of Lord Jagannath there. and everybody is waiting for that. And this is Pohandi, and particularly this Pohandi is called the Dhadi Pohandi, or the movement in a queue, and singular movement is there. This is very different from the Goti Pohandi, when the lords are to, or the deities are to alight on their individual thrones, like Bizul throne or at the throne in the Gundicha temple. They are taken in the Goti Pohandi because once they are seated in proper measurement, the other deity can be brought in the Pohandi. So here they have to alight on their individual chariots. Goti Pohandi is not the matter of the work here, and here we have the Dhadi Pohandi. Dhadi Pohandi ritual is followed to move the lords to the chariots in the outward journey, but completing the inward journey on the return car festival also, the Goti Pohandi ritual is also followed. Similarly, Dhadi Pohandi, as we see right now before us, the lords come to the bathing altar also during the time of this Snana Purnima. And the bathing altar is located on the Aishanya Kona, or the Aishanya corner of the 10-acre temple complex. And Goti Pohandi, when they returned to the inner precincts of the temple to live sequestered, so they go in the Goti Pohandi to the Anasara enclosure. But the most important thing is that I am waiting for that moment to see, because I'm not able to get the view. Yes, I get a little bit of view of that. That is Tahia, the floral pattern or the floral crown. This is the most important thing, and particularly the devotees. They're very much interested to see the lords in their proper get-up with the tahiyas. And tahiya, it is a floral pattern looking like a spreaded out feathers of a peacock when it is about to dance at the sight of the dark clouds or even at the rains. Linguistically, it is very similar to tiara. That I find that tahiya could be the origin of the word, English word tiara also. Tiara is very popular among the royalty, mostly in Europe. Similarly, some European travelers watching these grand chariots with the grand celebrations and the lords moving on the huge chariots and rolling down on the macadamized road, because that used to be there, because black metal road as we find it today, it was not there a long time back, more than hundreds of years back. So when the giant chariots were rolling on the macadamized road, it was producing a huge noise, and that was creating a fearful atmosphere for the Westerners, particularly the European travelers, and particularly the missionaries, those who were coming to India. And the sky is very bright, even though it is not a very, very sunny day. It's very cool, and temperature is very moderate because of the rains that we had in Puri last night, and temperature is about, say, it has grown a little higher. It is 29 degrees Celsius right now. Very little of humidity is there, as we can see. Oh yes, this is the beautiful sight. Just Lord Jagannath is about to step out of the Lion's Gate, the canopy of the Lion's Gate. That is the way he is moved. He's being moved. Wonderful this is. I was talking about the wheels as that was conceptualized by the Westerners, and they call that to be Jagannath. And Jagannath became a word in the English dictionary. It signifies that a huge thing that rolls, crushing everything, that will not allow anything that comes in front of the chariot. There used to be the time, long time back, more than 150 years back, the anxious devotees, particularly those who wanted to attain moksha, because moksha, or the salvation, is the aim of every religion, or the end of all penance. They used to hurl themselves at the giant wheels of the chariots to be crushed by the chariots. So instant death and instant salvation. So that was there. So that is why, to stop all these things, stop all these mishappenings or these untoward situations, or the spilling of the blood on the road, a lot of security bandobast is there, and here we have got enough of police bandobast. Many platoons of police, they have been deployed all around the city, and the locals, they are not allowed to step out of their homes, even go to the rooftop. And this is the tahiya, or you can say, if I translate the word tahiya, it could be the tiara. It's a very fashionable thing. I would be talking about the grand fashion styles adopted by Lord Jagannatha. He is very fond of clothes, he is very fond of food, he is very fond of dresses, and he is very fond of the rituals rather, and we would discussing them in detail. And you see, these are the alato and chamar, the fanning is done by the designated people, not the ordinary people, not the outsiders. They are allowed to do that. So this is how everybody is working there and rendering their service, because they find themselves to be very, very lucky enough to project themselves in a way to surrender their life and existence to the Lord. And I would ask the viewers to look very carefully about the whole thing and the tahiyya, the position of the tahiyya. And the tahiyyas are built by the designated people. And the temple has got 4 entrances from the 4 sides. And as we see, this is the view at the eastern gate. This is called the Lion's Gate. And there is another gate to the south side. This is flanked with huge stone structures of horses, and this is called the Horse Gate. And a little beyond the Horse Gate, there are 2 monasteries are there, and they are designated and they have been authorized during the time of the Gajapati Maharajas, and right now by the temple administration of government of Orissa to build these specially made tahiyyas. And the tahiyyas are built with cane bamboo sticks and peat and fiber thread collected from the banana plants, then the silver foils. If we can get a closer look, we can understand how the silver foils, they are put together in a very decorative way, and the paper is also used. And the most important thing is the holy basil leaves are used. Holy basil leaves are supplied by different monasteries. And at the top of the tahiyyas, or the floral crowns, there is a bunch of the fine blades of green grass. There are 108 sticks of grass. And grass is a shrub that is the teeniest of all in the vegetation world. But in the Jagannatha consciousness, in the practice of worship of Lord Jagannatha, nothing is ignoble. Everything has a name, and everything attains the divinity with a touch of the divine presence of the Lord. So that is why at the top pinnacle of the floral crown, there are the 108 sticks of duba grass. Duba is the name of the grass as it is known locally. So it is there put like the white feather is used by the royal figures. It is here. The green grass is used, 108 sticks. And particularly the flowers are used. There are specially decided flowers, and flowers particularly like champak, lotus, and the full fruit that is called the tagara, and the kevda, very sweet smelling, and mallika also. This is the time we find mallika is grown at this time of the year, and malati and rangani. And if you I asked the viewers if they have a close look of the tahiyyas. There is a flower that is of little ochre hue, little orange red. That is the rangani flower. It's a very beautiful flower, but doesn't have any smell, while all other flowers, they are very sweet smelling. So this is how we find everything from the vegetation find a place here in the tahiyyas. And I was talking about the bamboo sticks and the cane sticks also. And 37 sticks are used. 37 sticks are used of different sizes and different lengths to build this tahiyya of Lord Jagannatha. And similarly, as we had seen, Lord Balabhadra has alighted his Taladhwaja chariot, and when he was about to alight the inner sanctum of the chariot, the tahiyya was removed, because with the tahiyya the deities, they cannot get into the inner sanctum of the chariot. So the So we find it for the view of the devotees only. And specifications about Lord Balabhadra's tahia is that it comprises of 33 sticks of cane and bamboo of different lengths and sizes. And similarly, the conical tahia that used to be used by goddess Subhadra has got 12 sticks, and in a similar fashion, the conical tahia that is used by Lord Sudarsana, it has got 8 sticks. But they have mostly the holy basil flowers and the pith designed lips also. It looks like the kia flower. Kia is a flower that is mostly grown in the tropical areas, and the 6 leaves are carved out of the pith, and that is why it is there. And the movement is in such a way, and when the Lord is moving, I'm particularly talking about Lord Jagannath's movement. So he moves in a swaying way, not to the left, not to the right, but to the front and to the back. So he comes down the 22 steps, and 22 steps, they are of greater importance for the believers here, because all the 22 steps, they are understood to be the 22 steps of mind, the Maya also. One has to come across the 22 levels of thinking. So after that, one would have the self-realization, and who would have an understanding about the supreme consciousness that is about the Brahma. So 22 number, it has got a special significance. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Natha Narayana Vasudeva. It has got 22 letters. So 22 letters are understood to be the 22 steps here. Maya, Chetana, illusion, consciousness, wisdom, sleep, hunger, shadow, energy, thirst, abstinent, differences, modesty, peace, love, beauty, vocation, memory, smriti, compassion means daya, thoughts, concepts of mother, and wrong ideas, and pragya means knowledge. So one has to understand, as per the Vaishnava theory, these are the 22 guiding goddesses. One has to go through the levels of understanding. If one has to acquire these stages of life, then he would be able to understand the divinity, to find the ultimate moksha or salvation. So one needs to come over his obscure self that is subjected to or reels under the effects of 22 mundane mindsets also, and after that one can travel from his own obscure self to the supreme realization or the understanding of Brahma. Now this is the way the Lord is moving. Not to the left, not to the right. Eagerly pulled, step by step. He has already come and on to the grand road. He is now very close to Aruna Stambha. And this movement is understood to be said that nothing is permanent except the supreme consciousness. That is what is understood from the movement of Lord Jagannath. And these are the baskets of holy basil leaves, and they would be put together for the adornment. One Lord gets into the inner sanctum of the chariot, and the fly-whisk service is offered by the designated people coming from different monasteries, because the monasteries, they have a an important role in the
रथयात्रायां पतितपावनं कर्तुं पतितानाम् उद्धारणं कर्तुं महाप्रभुः भक्तैः सह इदानीं पदहुण्डनं कृत्वा स्वयं नन्दिघोषं रथम् अत्र आरोढुं प्रयत्नं करोति। तत्र गमिष्यति श्री जगन्नाथमन्दिरस्य सिंहद्वारतः बडदाण्डमार्गेण प्रायः 3 किलोमीटर परिमितदूरे यत् दिव्यं श्रीगुण्डिचामन्दिरं विद्यते तत्रैव गमिष्यति। स्थानमिदं महावेदीति कथ्यते। राजा इन्द्रद्युम्नः अत्रैव अश्वमेधयज्ञं विधाय 500 वर्षाणि यावत् यज्ञं कृतवान्। अतः यज्ञमण्डपनाम्ना स्थानमिदं प्रसिद्धम्। अत्रैव श्रीजगन्नाथादिदेवानां मूर्तिनिर्माणम् अभवत् इति हेतोः स्थानमिदं जन्मवेदी, जन्मस्थानं, जन्मपुरी, जनकपुरी वा इति नाम्ना प्रसिद्धं वर्तते। इन्द्रद्युम्नस्य नाम्ना प्रसिद्धे इन्द्रद्युम्न सरोवर तीरे श्रीगुण्डिचा मन्दिरे निज जन्मस्थानप्रीत्या देवानां यात्रा श्रीगुण्डिचा यात्रा इति प्रसिद्धा। देवानां स्वजन्मस्थानं प्रति गमनेन जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी इति भावना मनुष्याणां सुदृढा भवतु इत्यपि अत्र शिक्षा अस्माभिः प्राप्यते। पश्यन्तु भवन्तः श्रीजगन्नाथस्य कृते भक्ताः कथं सेवां कुर्वन्ति, आलटसेवां कुर्वन्ति, चामरसेवां कुर्वन्ति। अहो सुदृश्यं भवति ताहिया इति अस्य कथं शिरोमण्डनं भवति। पश्यन्तु भवन्तः भगवान् कथं नृत्यं कुर्वन् आगच्छति। लीलामयः प्रभुः लीलां प्रदर्शयति एवं च भक्तजनानां हृदयम् आकर्षति। तत्र यद्यपि श्रीजगन्नाथः हिन्दुभिः पूज्यते तथापि सः वर्षे एकवारं बडदाण्डमार्गेण बहिः निर्गत्य जाति धर्म वर्ण निर्विशेषेण सर्वैः सादरं सम्पूज्यते। विशेषतः पतितानां पावनाय प्रभुः इमां यात्रां रचयति इति यात्रायं पतितपावनयात्रा इति नाम्ना विख्याता वर्तते। तर्हि अनेन वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम् इति विश्वप्रेम सर्वथा यात्रायामस्यां सफलं भवति। यदा सर्वे भक्ताः यात्रिणः महता उत्साहेन रथरज्जुः आकर्षणं कुर्वन्ति तदा सर्वेषां विश्ववासिनाम् अधिकारः समानः इति प्रतीयते। अनेन संहतिः कार्यसाधिका इति लोकशिक्षापि संसूच्यते। वयं पश्यामः रथयात्रायाम् एवम् अनुभवामः। श्रीजगन्नाथस्य घोषोत्सवः सर्वेषां कृते सुखप्रदायकः भवतु इति कविः अपि स्वीये श्रीजगन्नाथरथोत्सव काव्ये लिखति। श्री गुणनिधिदासः कथयति त्वत्कारुण्यबलात् त्वदीय जगति श्रद्धां च संवर्धयन् शान्ति स्नेह सुखानि कीर्तिमतुलां देशे चिरं स्थापयन् सौहार्दं तु परस्परं विरचयन् ज्ञानं च विस्तारयन् सर्वानन्दक एव भातु भुवने घोषोत्सव श्रीहरेः। इयं रथयात्रा, इयं दशदिनात्मिका यात्रा तत्र जगतः कृते शिक्षां ददाति। एवं च सर्वेपि भक्ताः श्रीजगन्नाथस्य पुरतः तत्र सविनयं निवेदनं कुर्वन्ति। यदा भगवान् आगच्छति कुत्र आगच्छति? भक्तानां निकटे आगच्छति। किमर्थम् आगच्छति? सः भक्ताधीनः भगवान्। अतः खलुक्तं नाहं तिष्ठामि वैकुण्ठे योगिनां हृदयेन च मद्भक्ता यत्र गायन्ति तत्र तिष्ठामि नारद इति यदुक्तं तथैव अद्य भगवान् श्रीमन्दिरतः बहिः आगच्छति। वर्षे एकवारम् आगच्छति। अवश्यं तत्र स्वभक्तैः सह मेलितुं तस्य इयम् अपूर्वा लीला भवति। अतः अद्य सर्वे भक्ताः कथं प्रार्थनां कुर्वन्ति? कोरोना सङ्कटकाले विश्ववासिनः कथं तत्र शान्तिम् अनुभवन्तु, सुखम् अनुभवन्तु। पुनरपि अस्माकं जनजीवनं सुखमयं भवतु, समृद्धिमयं भवतु। अतः कविः लिखति सर्वस्मिन् हृदये महाप्रभु जगन्नाथस्य भक्तिं भरन् मैत्री प्रीति विशुद्ध शांति समता सर्वांतरे वर्धयन् ऐक्य स्नेह परोपकार करुणा सेवादिकं पूरयन् सर्वप्राण विकासकोस्तु जयद श्रीधाम घोषोत्सवः। तत्र भगवतः श्रीजगन्नाथस्य अयं यः घोषोत्सवः, यः चन्दनोत्सवः, यः रथोत्सवः सः जगद्वासिनां कृते विश्ववासिनां कृते सुखं ददातु, शान्तिं ददातु, सर्वत्र मैत्री प्रसरतु, सर्वत्र भ्रातृभावः प्रसरतु, सर्वे तत्र सुखम् अनुभवन्तु इति। एवं च महाप्रभुः श्रीजगन्नाथस्य अत्रैव अवस्थानात् इदं क्षेत्रं सर्वथा पवित्रं भवति। श्रीक्षेत्रं सर्वथा पवित्रं भवति। सर्वेषु क्षेत्रेषु इदं क्षेत्रं श्रेष्ठं भवति। अतः कथयति ब्रह्मपुराणे यथा समस्त तीर्थानां धर्म संसार तारकः तथा समस्त तीर्थानां श्रेष्ठं तत् पुरुषोत्तमम्। ये जनाः अस्मिन् पवित्र क्षेत्रे पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्रे निवसन्ति तेऽपि धन्याः भवन्ति, तेषां जीवनं सफलं भवति। अतः तत्रैव लिखितमस्ति ये वसन्ति उत्कले क्षेत्रे पुण्यश्री पुरुषोत्तमे सफलं जीवितं तेषाम् उत्कलानां सुमेधसाम्। अतः यदा वयं श्रीजगन्नाथस्य दिव्यं रूपं पश्यामः, महाप्रभुः श्रीजगन्नाथः पदहुण्डनं कृत्वा स्वीयं रथं नन्दिघोषम् आरोढुं समागच्छति, तदानीम् अस्माकं पुरतः श्रीक्षेत्रस्य यद् वैभवं तदेव नृत्यति। अत्र क्षेत्रे मृता ये च न तेषां तु प्रभुर्यमः यदर्थमागतस्त्वं हि तद् अन्यत्र प्रसादय। तथाप्यसौ जगन्नाथो भक्तायात्मसमर्पकः यमेन तोषितो भक्त्या प्रपन्नार्ति हरः प्रभु यमबाधा नास्ति श्रीक्षेत्रे। एवं तत्र स्कन्दपुराणे लिखितमस्ति सुदर्शनेन चक्रेण मयं च व्यवधास्यति अत्याज्यस्मिन् क्षेत्रवरे स्वर्णबालुकया वृते। पश्यामः वयं महाप्रभुः जगन्नाथः तत्र मन्दं मन्दं नृत्यं कुर्वन् आगच्छति। उत्कलीयः कवयः कथयन्ति यथा गजः मन्दं मन्दम् आगच्छति, अयम् आगच्छति महाप्रभुः भक्ताधीनः भगवान् भक्तानां निकटे आगच्छति। भक्ताः चामरसेवां कुर्वन्ति, भक्ताः आलटसेवां कुर्वन्ति। एवं च सर्वेपि पश्यन्तु भवन्तः कोरोना नियमान् पालयन्ति, जिल्ला प्रशासनम् अत्र तत्परतां प्रदर्शयति। सेवकाः तत्र तस्य जगन्नाथस्य श्री अङ्गसेवकाः अत्यन्तं श्रद्धया अत्यन्तं निष्ठया यथाकालं सेवाम् अत्र प्रदर्शयन्ति। अतः वयं स्वगृहेषु स्थित्वा अत्यन्तम् आनन्देन दूरदर्शनमाध्यमेन वयम् अद्य अपूर्वां रथयात्रां विश्वप्रसिद्धां रथयात्राम् अवलोकयामः। अस्माकं नेत्रजुगलं पवित्रं भवति, अस्माकम् अन्तःकरणं धन्यं भवति, अस्माकं मानवजीवनं सफलं भवति। कुतः तत्र नीलपर्वते भगवतः श्रीहरेः चतुर्भुज विशिष्टा मूर्तिः या वर्तते तस्याः मूर्तेः दर्शनम् अवश्यं कर्तव्यं। सर्वे जनाः श्रीमन्दिरस्य अन्तः प्रवेष्टुं प्रपारयन्ति, अतः सर्वे जनाः अस्याः चतुर्धा मूर्तेः दर्शनं कुर्वन्तु, पुण्यफलं प्राप्नुवन्तु इति इयं यात्रा। अतः मोक्षदायकस्य श्रीपुरुषोत्तमक्षेत्रस्य यत् सुन्दरं वर्णनं गरुडपुराणेऽपि दृश्यते, वयम् आलोचयितुं शक्नुमः। जगन्नाथं ये अर्चयन्ति सुभद्रां बलभद्रकं ज्ञानं प्राप्य श्रियं पुत्रान् व्रजन्ति पुरुषोत्तमम्। पुरुषोत्तमः अस्य क्षेत्रस्य महत्त्वं पश्यन्तु भवन्तः। एतत् क्षेत्रं श्रीपुरुषोत्तमनाम्ना प्रसिद्धम्। एवं च अयं देवः अपि श्रीपुरुषोत्तमः इति प्रसिद्धः। पुरुषोत्तमराजस्य सूर्यस्य च गणस्य च सर्वान् कामान् अवाप्नोति सम्पूज्य पुरुषोत्तमं। नारायणं तु सम्पूज्य नराणाम् अधिपो भवेत्। मत्स्यपुराणे श्रीजगन्नाथस्य नाम उच्चारणपूर्वकं पुरुषोत्तमक्षेत्रस्य महत्त्वं सूचितं वर्तते। पश्यन्तु भवन्तः दिव्यरथम् एकत्र रथस्य पार्श्वे मन्दिरस्य शोभाम् आकलयन्तु। मन्दिरं श्रीजगन्नाथमन्दिरं दिव्यमन्दिरं भव्यमन्दिरम् उत्कलीयानां शिल्पिनां कलाकौशलम् अवलोकयन्तु भवन्तः। मन्दिरस्य बहिः पश्यन्तु सेवकाः, सेवकैः सह भगवान् जगन्नाथः एवं च भक्तैः सह लीलां करोति महाप्रभुः जगन्नाथः। वयं पश्यामः जगन्नाथः इतः परं कियत्कालात् परं स्वीयं रथं नन्दिघोषं रथं तत्र रथस्य आरोहणं करिष्यति। अतः अत्र उच्यते सुरास्त्वाम् अभिषिञ्चन्तु ब्रह्म विष्णु महेश्वरः वासुदेव जगन्नाथ तथा संकर्षणो विभुः प्रद्युम्नश्चानिरुद्धश्च भवन्तु विजयायते। एवमेव अग्निपुराणे कथ्यते सुभद्रां बलभद्रं च प्रपूज्य पुरुषोत्तमं सर्वकामसमायुक्तः कुलमुद्धृत्य नाकभाकु। वामनपुराणे विष्णुपञ्जरस्तोत्रे तथा पाप प्रशमन स्तोत्रे श्री जगन्नाथ तत्व विषये बहुधा वर्णना दृश्यते। नमस्ते पुंडरीकाक्ष नमस्ते विश्वभावनः नमस्ते जगदाधार नमस्ते पुरुषोत्तम नारायण जगन्मूर्ते जगन्नाथ गदाधर पितवास श्रीकांत जनार्दन नमोस्तुते। एवमेव महाप्रभुः श्री जगन्नाथस्य यत् दिव्यं तत्त्वं वर्तते कूर्मपुराणे तीर्थयात्रा प्रसंगे एवं पुरुषोत्तमरूपेण प्रभोः प्रसिद्धिः वर्तते इति तत्रापि उपलभ्यते। तीर्थं नारायणस्य अन्यन्नाम्ना तु पुरुषोत्तमं तत्र नारायणः श्रीमन् आस्ते परमपुरुषः। विष्णुपुराणे दक्ष वंश वर्णना प्रसंगे श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्रं विष्णोः क्षेत्रमिति सूचितम्। अद्य विष्णोः क्षेत्रे अपूर्व क्षेत्रे इयम् अपूर्वलीला महाप्रभो श्रीजगन्नाथस्य या रथयात्रा पश्यन्तु भवन्तः इदानीं भक्तैः आवृतः अस्ति महाप्रभु तस्य मुखं न दृश्यते केवलं तस्य शिरोभूषणं यत् वर्तते स्थानीयभाषया टाहिया इति उच्यते केवलं टाहिया दृश्यते पुरतः पश्यति प्रभुः तस्य रथः प्रस्तुतो वर्तते नन्दिघोषरथः प्रस्तुतो वर्तते कवि कथयति जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ अनाथानामधिनाथ हे जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ चरण कमले तब निवेदयामि माधव उत्तिष्ठ भक्तबान्धव नंदी घोषे प्रभो नंदी घोषे विजयतांग वरुण जा नाथ हे जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ भक्ताः प्रार्थनां कुर्वन्ति निवेदनं कुर्वन्ति प्रभो विलम्बं न कुर्वन्तु सर्वे भक्ताः सर्वत्र विश्ववासिनः प्रतीक्षां कुर्वन्ति दूरदर्शनमाध्यमेन भवतां लीलां द्रष्टुं समुत्सुकाः सन्ति विलम्बं न कुर्वन्तु शीघ्रमेव स्वीय नन्दिघोषरथस्य आरोहणं कुर्वन्तु इति भक्ताः प्रार्थनां कुर्वन्ति एवं विष्णुपुराणे दक्षवंशवर्णप्रसङ्गे पुरुषोत्तमक्षेत्रम् अत्यन्तं विष्णोः क्षेत्रमिति प्रसिद्धं वर्तते स चापि भगवान् कण्डुः क्षीणे तपसि सप्तमः पुरुषोत्तममाख्यातं विष्णुरायतनं ययौ तत्रैकाग्रमतिर्भूत्वा चकाराराधनं हरेः यदि वयं पश्यामः संहिताग्रन्थेषु अपि तत्र अस्य क्षेत्रस्य महत्त्वं वर्तते शिवपार्वत्योः सम्भाषणेन श्रीक्षेत्रस्य महत्त्वं वामदेवसंहितायां सूच्यते एकदा पार्वती देवी देवेशं वृषभध्वजं पप्रच्छ तीर्थगणने पुरुषोत्तममीरितं सर्वक्षेत्रवरं श्रेष्ठं कथितं केन कारणं बहुनी सन्ति क्षेत्राणि चेदं क्षेत्रवरं कथम् एतेन ज्ञातुं मया पृष्टः कथय त्रिपुरान्तक पार्वती वचनं श्रुत्वा प्रवाच वृषभध्वजः पार्वती प्रश्नं पृच्छति भगवान् शिवः उत्तरं करोति किमर्थम् इदं क्षेत्रं पवित्रमस्ति इति सर्वे प्रतीक्षां कुर्वन्ति कदा भगवान् जगन्नाथः कृपां करिष्यति स्व इच्छया सः इच्छामय प्रभुः स लीलामय प्रभुः कदा सः चारमाळमार्गेण सोपानश्रेणीम् अतिक्रम्य स्वीयं रथम् आरूढुं गच्छति इति सर्वे प्रतीक्षां कुर्वन्ति प्रार्थनां कुर्वन्ति तत्र भगवान् शङ्करः श्रीपुरुषोत्तमक्षेत्रे जगन्नाथदेवस्य आविर्भावमहत्त्वं सूचयति भगवान् नारायणः ब्रह्मणः जन्मकालात् नीलमाधवरूपेण श्रीपुरुषोत्तमक्षेत्रे स्थितः इति कथयति नारायणात् समुद्भूतो ब्रह्मा पञ्चमुखो भवत् ब्रह्मणश्च यदा जन्म तदा प्रभृति माधव नीलमाधवरूपेण स्थितः स्यात् पुरुषोत्तमे स तु तेनैव रूपेण पूर्वार्धे ब्रह्मणः स्थितः परार्धे स जगन्नाथ स्थितो भवति पार्वती इदमुच्यते